Y'all, I need help, and I don't always like asking for it. Hey friends, today I want to talk to you about my 5 tips that I often give friends who come to me asking for homeschool advice, whether it's their first year of homeschooling or if they're just simply considering starting their own homeschool journey. Don't try to mimic traditional school. This took me a solid 2 years to figure out how to really unschool my brain. My husband and I both graduated from a public school, and so the idea of homeschooling in my mind was literally just doing school at home. So the first year, more so the first year, the second year wasn't quite as bad, but I still struggled a little bit. But I really expected the boys to do exactly what I did at school. So little things like I wanted them to sit at a table. Now, when we started, they were in 2nd and 3rd grade. So I was expecting them to sit at a table properly, right? Raise their hands if they had a question. We started and ended strictly at a certain time, and just everything that I did at school, I was trying to do at home. And it took me a really long time to figure out, hey, school doesn't have to look like that. I have the freedom to choose whatever I want. If we want to start at 9:30 instead of 7:30, we can do that. If we want to school outside one day, we can do that. The point is that your homeschool can look like whatever you want it to look like that best fits your family and your needs. Know your reasons for homeschooling. This is going to help you when you have a bad day, because you will. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Knowing why you're homeschooling in general will help you to stay the course. Our reasons for homeschooling the boys were never to have them graduate early. Would that be a bonus? Maybe, but that's not the goal. The goal of ours, we really have 2 main reasons. The first for us is to help mold the boys into godly young men. That's our biggest reason, really, as parents, period, but also in our homeschool journey. Our second reason is to instill a love of learning for the boys. You know, I truly believe that we're learning our entire lifetime, and I want the boys to know that. I want the boys to love learning and love reading. And so anytime throughout the year, if I see that they have an interest in bugs, that's an example because we've done this, then if I have the conviction to, I'll set aside our chosen curriculum for a week or so, and we'll just do our own little unit study on bugs, you know? There's some subjects that we do unit study style, but it's not something that we're married to for the year. But if that's a conviction of ours and the boys are super interested in learning about bugs and insects, then let's do it. You know, we can find science and math and spelling and all of those things within that. So the point is that we just really want to instill that love of learning, and that when they find something that they're interested in, I want to teach them how to research that, how to go beyond knowing I'm interested in this. How do I learn more about it? The third tip is to attend a homeschool convention. I love going to conventions. I already know the curriculum that I have chosen, so I don't necessarily go to look at the curriculum. I love getting my hands on curriculum. In the beginning, I really was a curriculum junkie or hoarder. I still have a lot of that. It's hard for me to let go. But I love going to conventions for the classes. You guys, the wisdom that you can get from those classes is phenomenal. I mean, my boys are both just entering middle school, and I've already sat in on college prep classes and how to find scholarships and things like that we really don't need for a few years. But there's just so much wisdom in that. And I love being able to prepare for the future in that way. So if you have the opportunity to attend a homeschool convention, I urge you to, because number one, you'll be able to get your hands on lots of different curriculums, meet the creators of a lot of this curriculum, which is super cool. I fangirl over them sometimes. And you can get so much wisdom from the classes offered at these conventions. Fun side story about that. This last convention that I went to in Houston, I had the opportunity to meet Sarah McKenzie, the creator of the Read Aloud Revival. And she asked me a simple question and I was totally fangirling over her. And she was like, oh, that's so awesome. Because I told her that, like, you know, I've been listening to her podcast for years and all this stuff. And she asked me what our favorite read aloud was. And y'all, like, I totally went blank. And do you know what I said? I said, oh, well, we love fiction. Fiction? Like, I couldn't name any book that we've read in the past. Like, totally went blank. But anyways, I'm sure she remembers that. I'm sure she was like, oh, I'm sure you've listened to my podcast for years. Prioritize your homeschool hours. This past fall, I started a side business, and I found out very quickly that my priorities were completely out of order. I saw that I was getting super stressed out. My kids were getting stressed. My husband was getting stressed. And after talking it out with him, I realized that I was putting aside our school time to meet the needs of clients. And it wasn't working out. So I realized, okay, I had to shift my focus. I had to reprioritize and get those things in order, because it was affecting not just our homeschool, but like our home and our life in general, and me as a person. So I really want to stress, prioritize your homeschool hours. If you say that we're going to school from 9 to 1, then block out those hours and make sure that you spend that time only homeschooling, not on your phone, not worrying about work if you work part-time or anything like that, but really just focus on your kids. And the truth is, if you're solely focusing on homeschooling and not trying to dual duties, then you'll probably get it done a lot faster than you plan to anyways. So prioritize your homeschool hours. Source out duties if at all possible. For example, if you are financially able to hire someone to help you with cleaning the house, then do that. If you are financially able to hire a tutor for one of your students that may be struggling in a subject, or is just simply a subject that you're not super comfortable with teaching, hire a tutor. For most people, myself included, your first year of homeschooling is a lot of trial and error, a lot of learning. You're entering a new season. You're just trying to figure things out, and that can be really stressful. So know that ahead of time going into it and alleviate any of that stress that you possibly can. One thing I'm doing right now, and this is our 5th year of homeschooling, is I'm just simply looking for someone to help me clean my floors in the house. We just built a new home, and it's a pretty large home, and I can clean everything else pretty quickly, but those floors, man, they take some time, like a few hours every week. If I were to clean them every week, which I don't, but when I do clean the floors, they take a long time. So right now I'm just looking for someone to help me clean the floors, because that can be stressful. And if, you know, like I said, if you're financially able to, then by all means, alleviate some of that stress on yourself. Those are my top 5 tips that I often give to new homeschoolers. I would love to hear what your top tip is. Leave it in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, I would love if you would give it a thumbs up. And until next time, guys, have a great one. This took me a solid 2, not 5. My 4th tip, guys. Oh, no. Why do I always get my numbers wrong? Oh, my finger does something weird. Okay.